You're about to enter the world of Michael Zavala. Now's your chance to turn back.
Get in the bat cave, Michael.
Okay,
Don't do Red Bull, do Cocoa or something. I can't hear you. Wow, he's Dowie citizen.
I'm just amazed at what you think about.
This is MC Now.
All right, do we want to take a roll call on who's not here?
Clark, Lola.
Oh, yeah. Clark and Lola, that's correct. Lola forgot that she had promised she would help somebody move today.
That wasn't smart.
And yesterday. It was yesterday and today, and I guess she forgot about it, which, I don't know, I find that hard to believe.
There's like movers and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And I mean, I don't
have to burden your friends with your problem.
Here's the other thing. I don't know that she knows anybody that has a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't imagine that's a half-day thing.
About jail cells worth.
Right. Yeah. Whatever you can fit in a box. Like, I don't understand how. And then she was out partying last night. Anyway, and then Clark forgot we had a show because he's on his way up here. But he thought we were off for my birthday, even though on the schedule it says we have a show with our guest today, Vinnie, the comedian. Is that what you go by?
Yeah, my stage name. Vinnie the comedian.
Yeah, the funny guy.
I am a black comic on stage. Yeah. I wear my own merch on stage, too.
You hit us up on Instagram, and I looked at some of your stuff, and I thought, he's really funny. We had to bring him on. Always enjoy hanging out with funny people. Truly funny people. We don't get a lot of that, you know? But before we get to that, Catherine here was trying to guess everyone's sign. And she was working on Eric before we started the show. I said, hang on.
She'd already gone through about 6 or 7.
Yeah, so you only got about 6 more. So which one is it? What do you think?
Oh, Taurus. Is it a Taurus?
Mm-mm.
I'll just go down the line. Cancer?
No.
Leo?
No. How are you gonna go? How are you gonna say Taurus and then Cancer?
Well, she's doing the Ninja Turtles right now.
Right. And then it's like not the one in between that.
Well, I thought there is one in between that. Isn't there?
Oh my
Yes.
God. I think you're more well versed in astrology than her.
I am. I probably
Well, he's
am.
gay. Yeah, of course you have to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
Gemini.
Gemini.
I was going to say a Sagittarius or whatever.
How are you going to say that?
I don't know the difference.
Okay.
I mean, you could tell me I don't even know all the signs. She did better than I did.
Yeah.
Aquarius?
Who?
You.
I told you I'm a Gemini.
I thought I guessed that. I didn't, did I?
No.
She's not a good listener. She must be a Leo.
No, baby.
Yeah, what are you? Are you an Aries too?
I'm an Aries.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, nice.
All right. I think I wasn't clear.
We're very commanding and demanding. What are Aries? What would your elevator pitch for an Aries be?
Yeah, that's it.
Just commanding and demanding?
Hothead.
Leadership. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I'm no more of the negative stuff than the positive stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what the positives are. Hotheads, yeah. I mean, I could get angry. But I'm not. I feel like I'm pretty good at holding in my anger.
Well, normally, I normally go off like the element of the sign. So there's 3 like fire signs.
Okay.
One of them being an Aries. So normally, that's why I say like hothead, about like Aries and fire. So normally, you really can't tame like an Aries, especially like when they're mad or whatever. They just say whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because like it's weird because when Michael's mad, you can't tell he's mad, but in his mind he's like furious.
Yeah, I like Tom and Jerry, like the cartoon, like red, just woo, like the invisible smoke's coming out of my ears.
Yeah,
but I won't. I'll be very, and if I'm trying to attack somebody verbally, I feel like I try to do it in a very sharp and painful way, but quickly, a quick death. You know what I mean? But yeah, for the most part, I don't consider him. I don't like blow off the handle or anything.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe when I was younger, I could, but I don't think I could. And I'm talking younger. I mean like a teenager, preteen, or something.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's better ways to handle things.
Do you know your Mars sign?
Mars?
Yeah.
Like, no, I think
position.
No, I don't. No, I mean, well, there's a what is it?
It was missionary.
I know there's your like rising sign, and then there's your was it like I think it's called descending, or like there's a moon and a sun sign. So yeah, normally there's one that you present as. So like for me, it's a Gemini, and then like my other sign, internally or whatever, I guess you can say it is. I am a Taurus.
So what does that mean?
So that's
Slow?
why people, huh?
Slow? Old and slow?
No, normally it's like steady. A Taurus is normally steady.
Okay.
They're like stable.
Yeah, I can see that.
They don't like to take a lot of risks.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it's weird, because like I'm like, when I look at Gemini stuff, I'm all like, but they're more like, I would say like really wishy washy. They kind of like just do whatever. They're not like as stable. So people see me, they're like, well, I don't see you as a Gemini, but it's true, because like when I'm out socially, I'm a Gemini, but like at home,
Yeah,
in
you
my
see him
normal
drunk.
life,
Drunk Eric is a whole different Eric.
yeah. And then my
It's
normal
incredible.
life, like Monday through Friday, I'm like very stable. Like,
Yeah.
I'm always working. I've been working since I was 16. I haven't stopped. So yeah.
Yep.
That makes any sense.
Are you stubborn?
I would say,
I would say, am I stubborn?
I wouldn't say you're stubborn.
No, I'm
I
not
think that,
The right
you're
situation.
in the right situation, you can be, you have your, but you're also really good at listening to the other opinions of
You
the other people
remember
around.
the cookies at the hotel?
Oh, the cookies. Yeah, that's true.
I'm not stubborn. I will say
You're demanding. I stayed at this
Am I?
hotel because y'all were going to give me free cookies, and now I didn't get the free cookies. And then you
Is
went up
that-
to the manager
is
and
it-
all that.
Is that demanding, or is that me getting what I'm owed?
Yeah, it's demanding. Because I didn't care. I
Well,
was
no.
like, I'm going to go to bed.
I thought like me demanding is like I told her, hey, go give me a coffee. That's demanding.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
yeah.
but
That's true.
if she never said, look, I'm gonna get you a coffee,
That wasn't
I would
part of
not
the
be-
agreement. Yeah.
It wasn't part of the agreement. So I'm not gonna expect something out of her.
That's true. All right. Yeah, but me, I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. I'll just, if I wanted a cookie that bad, I'll Uber Eats it or something,
Oh no! But the thing of it is, that lady at the front counter was like, she was like not willing to give up those cookies, and the DoubleTree, that's what they're known for. And it's like,
I think they're known for their hotel.
No one stays there for the rooms. What are you,
No.
crazy? It's for the cookies.
yeah, it's for the cookies.
Yeah. That's why their logo has a big cookie. The mascot's Cookie Monster from Sesame Street.
Yeah.
That license must have cost them a fortune.
I think there was 2 of us staying in the room, and she gave me 1.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, where's the other ones? Like, so what?
You're just
We're
looking
gonna
for some
share this one?
accountability. You just
Right.
want some accountability. That's all.
That's it. Yeah. He just wanted the accountability. All right. So what's your sign? Do you know anything about this?
Well, is she gonna guess
Oh.
it?
Oh, yeah. You got to guess.
Scorpio or Virgo?
I'm a Capricorn, sweetheart.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, I never thought that.
Now, what's a Capricorn?
They're Earth signs, so normally it's kind of similar. It's like Taurus and then Capricorn, and then there's another one. I forget what the third one is now. That I'm put on the spot. But like, I know a lot of Capricorns and I get along. I think
there you go.
I think it's because the Taurus,
Yeah.
like in me.
They ride on the shell. They're like a bird that just rides on the shell
Yeah.
in the wild, the back of the turtle. You know, the birds will hitch a ride.
I don't know. I will say all the Capricorns that I've encountered are stubborn.
Are you stubborn? Do you think you're stubborn, Vinny?
I wouldn't use that word.
Okay.
And they are demanding.
I refuse to use that word.
Now, let me ask you this.
Me and Kyle Rittenhouse have the same birthday, by the way.
Oh, really? Congratulations.
Who?
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Y'all do
Me-
cameos together?
Mine is-
Actually, what kind of is interesting, Kyle Rittenhouse has the same birth year as Greta Thunberg.
Really?
Exactly. Yeah,
Wow.
So it's like
The Trinity.
opposite ends of the spectrum
Yeah.
for Capricorns.
That's awesome. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about you. So we're waiting on Clark to get here. You're from Houston.
From Houston, yeah, Lake Jackson to be specific, home of Selena, Ron Paul, and Buc-ee's.
Okay. Now, which Selena, though? The Gomez or because, she's from Texas,
No,
too.
Selena Quintanilla.
I got you.
The one Selena.
Hispanic? Are you Hispanic?
Me, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Same here, but I didn't grow up listening to Selena. I didn't know anything about it, but these guys are big fans.
Yeah,
In fact-
she I mean, she's like a queen in my hometown.
Oh, sure.
Obviously, like
Yeah.
if she's a queen, in Texas, she's a Texas queen, really. But,
Yeah.
But my dad, he grew up with her older brother, Abraham,
Mhm.
and they would. There was like a local grocery store, Stanley's in Lake Jackson, and they'd be like sweeping or whatever, and they're like 15 or 16 or whatever. And AB would be like, "Hey, Anthony, you know, one of these days you got to check on my sister. She sings. She's gonna be the next big thing. She's got a voice like you wouldn't believe." Like, and my dad was just like, "Abraham, shut the fuck up and get back to sleeping." Like, what are you talking about? Because at the time she's like 9, you know, whatever. So, but sure enough, like 10 years later, we're like, you know, getting tickets to go see her at the.
Chris Sapphire would love
rodeo,
to
the
talk to you about that.
Rodeo.
Yeah. One of our, the girl who's not here, Lola, who is our, I forgot what title we gave her, but we're going to revoke it. On-site producer or whatever.
Community outreach.
Yeah, community outreach.
Yeah.
What is she? Not a loan officer. What did she get in prison?
Parole.
No. She's a life coach.
Life game.
Yeah. So she's our life coach producer. She was in prison for 2 years and met what's the lady?
Yolanda.
Mm-hmm. Yolanda, yeah.
Who just got her like parole denied.
She said she was really mean. She had a garden though. I don't know what she's growing in that garden, but she had a garden in there.
A garden? No.
Yeah. A garden. Just a garden.
Oh, okay. I thought you said a gnome too. I was like,
she probably does have a gnome.
Maybe she's a swinger.
Maybe she's the gnome.
Right.
In the garden.
She stands out there. Nobody wants to bother the garden. But okay, so you're a comedian. So how did you get into that? Like, what inspired you? I should say.
Oh, heartbreak.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going to show them.
Well, I moved here.
I'm going to make no money doing
from Costa Rica, and
Costa Rica. What were you out there doing?
I was just retired.
Yeah,
I was just like, I finished college, and I was like, I just want to. Yeah, just go
do something else.
Yeah, go teach English, teach surf lessons.
Yeah,
you know, play guitar, local cantinas just to get by.
Yeah.
But then I followed a girl here to Dallas from Costa Rica, and
now she knew you were following her. Or no,
she knew.
Okay, all right.
She was aware, and for my birthday one year, the Kyle Rittenhouse's birthday, incidentally too, probably one of the years his 5th birthday party. She got me tickets to an improv class at Dallas Comedy House, what was then called Dallas Comedy House.
In Deep Ellum back in the day.
Yeah, like 3 locations ago.
Yeah, it's now barbecue.
No, that's the 3rd location. I'm talking 3 locations ago when it was across the street from like St. Pete's.
Oh yeah.
That was a long time.
I think I was on Commerce originally.
Yep.
Yeah. I went Commerce, Maine, and then Elm. But yeah, I did improv. I went through like all the levels of improv, and it was pretty fun actually. And then we broke up, and she had like the internet and like TV and stuff. And so I was just kind of manic depressively, just like writing away.
Yeah.
And just, presented it to some improv teammates, and they were like, "Hey, this is kind of funny. Maybe you should take this to the open mic that they do." And I did it once, and I was like, I guess this is what I do now. This is where I fit in.
This brings you joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
I was going to say what got you into comedy was Cheech and Chong, because that's what you're giving right now, the look with a bandana on your head.
Cheech and Chong?
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
Okay, goodbye. Next question.
What would you say your comedy is like? Because, I mean, you kind of have to develop the onstage persona, right? And then you kind of have a little bit of, you don't have to, but I think that's, you kind of naturally build that.
Yeah, I'd say it's like grounded surrealism.
Okay, I like that.
I had to because there's no genres of comedy, unfortunately.
Right, unless you're Carrot Top. Then you're prop comic.
I guess that, but even then, like if you back when you had like iTunes, like for the genre, it would just be comedy. There was never like alt comedy. Yeah. So if I had to like put a genre on it, I would say it's like grounded surrealism.
Okay.
A term I've played with.
I like that though. It's very mystique. I didn't watch the whole clip because I want to ask you on the show, but you had a clip on your Instagram.
Okay.
About not a Rolodex. What do you call it? A Rubik's Cube.
Oh yeah.
And you use that as a trick to get girls' numbers at a bar?
Yeah.
Essentially?
Yeah.
So how does that work? So first off, you can solve a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
He needs tips.
I keep a Rubik's Cube with me at all times.
Okay,
actually.
Let me ask. So when you were a kid, did you learn how to solve it?
No, I got into Rubik's Cubes very late in life.
Okay. And you can solve it pretty quickly?
Like a normal 3x3x3, yeah, about 40 seconds on average. But this is a 5x5x5. This
all right.
separates the men from the boys.
Now I've been saying this for years. You tell me if I'm wrong, right? I don't know how to solve a Rubik's Cube.
I can't solve this.
Yeah, just mix it up.
Yeah, mix it up. Shuffle it. Shuffle the deck. I can't solve a Rubik's Cube, but I've said this, as a wise saying that I tell people. Like when you're trying to make a decision about something or form an opinion about a particular topic, I say, you can't solve a Rubik's Cube by looking at only one side. That's what I say. I think I made that up. Maybe I stole it. I don't know.
That's pretty good.
But then I thought about it. And I'm like, well, can you solve a Rubik's Cube by looking at, am I an idiot? If you only looked at one side of the Rubik's Cube, could you fix it? Could you solve it? Or do you have to look at the whole thing?
You gotta look at the whole thing.
Okay, so I was good. All right.
No, that's a good one.
Accidental wisdom.
Pick that up.
Yeah,
that's a good.
Yeah, absolutely use it. And put on, I'm going to put on my tombstone or whatever. And then it turns out that I stole it from somebody. I don't know. But I think it makes sense. Like you have to look at all sides of a situation before you make a decision.
Yeah, for sure. And if you try to solve it one side at a time, you're gonna like face dead ends.
Yeah, exactly.
And
then you
actually never solve it.
Right.
So like, there's a lot of people that they'll try to do it and they'll just get like all the reds. And they're like, man, I'm almost there. And it's like, no, you put yourself in a trap. You'll never be able to get out of it.
And that's what so many people do. Look at me being Mr. Philosophy.
I didn't even think about
they
this.
build the prisons around themselves and they can't get out. In their mind.
Exactly. But in their mind, they're accomplishing something.
Right,
in their
exactly.
Mind, they're like,
but they're just a hamster on a wheel.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Look at that. Who would have thought you'd learn something today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I used to take that.
I don't know.
I used to take Rubik's Cubes to like restaurants. Your Ojos Locos, your Twin Peaks, your Hooters.
By the way, all of which I think are like on bankrupt now.
The late great Hooters.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Shout out Bombshells. Though.
Oh yeah, Bombshell's still rocking right here next door to us.
Bombshells, nice. And I would always like. I'd pull it out and I'm doing like my whole tortured artist shtick, like working on jokes. I got a Rubik's Cube right there.
You're sitting at the bar?
Yeah, or just I get a table. Sometimes I would get like, ask for a table for two and then like pretend to get stood up or like my writing partner didn't show up for something, so they'd be more inclined to come talk. But I'd always like capture their interest and would be able to like work it out to where, they'd be impressed. They'd be like, man, how long is it going to take you to do that? And I'd be like, man, one like this. I'd be like, how long would it impress you? And they'd, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, oh God, this is fish in a barrel right here.
Yeah.
This thing could take me like 7 minutes. So I was like, okay, how about if I solve it within 10 minutes, you get my next drink? Pretty good deal, right?
Yeah.
So I'm working and I solve it. I'm working on it, and I'd always be able to time it to where like whenever I was about to finish it, I was like on my last move. I'd like have them like come over and I'd be like, you know what? How about instead of that drink, I get your number instead?
What a smooth guy, yeah.
And that had a success rate of maybe 99.5%.
That's incredible.
It got to a point where I started feeling icky about it.
Yeah.
I really started feeling kind of icky about it.
Yeah.
So,
a little Harvey Weinstein.
That was before I met my wife, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're married now. That's great. Did it work on her? Is that how you did it?
No, but she is impressed with it though too.
Yeah, I need a gimmick.
I
like
hustle
that.
people at bars with it too. Like I'll take it out at bars, and
Mike's gimmick right now is trying out jokes on people.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been doing that my whole life, and then usually that's not impressive enough. So then what I do now is I'm like, hey, I've got this emulator on my phone. I have to set up this whole thing, right? I have an emulator on my phone. I have Super Mario Brothers 3 on my phone. How long do you think it's going to take me to finish this first level? And they go, I don't know, 30 seconds. Like they're not interested, right? And I'm like, well, I could watch it. 29 seconds, I'll beat it. And then I die, and then it's not impressive at all. And then I'm usually kicked out of the place. So it doesn't really. I need a good gimmick though.
Yeah.
So now what I do is I tell people I was on TV. That's my gimmick now. And also, they're not impressed.
That's a good one. Well, you should tell them who you're on TV with.
Steve Harvey.
I
do.
That helps.
And I show them the clip. I even
sweeten the deal.
I sign a little autograph. They're very confused. They don't know what's going on. Meanwhile, they got 5 tables yelling at them. I'm over here holding them up. It's a whole thing. So I really have to get like a really smart, maybe a card trick.
Yeah.
Card trick. Yeah, girls like magic.
Yeah.
I had a magician as my officiate at our wedding.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did y'all do it here in Dallas or did you go to Vegas?
It was out in Cedar Hill.
Oh, yeah. That's my neck of the woods almost.
Yeah. It was it was a lot of fun. I was in charge of her mom was not happy. She wanted something a little bit more traditional, more religious based. And the whole time she was like, you sure you don't want to do a pastoral? We can get a pastor. I think she thought there was some devil overtones.
Right, sure, yeah. Yeah.
The magician. And my wife's black too, so her family's very...
I got you, yeah. Yeah.
They're religious. They believe in astrology too.
Right.
Yeah, he was great. His name was Scott Wells. Shout out Scott Wells, magician based out of Houston actually. Would do stuff for like Super Bowl parties and stuff. Like couldn't believe we got him, like how we got him. And it was kind of actually a mistake how we got him because he accidentally texted the wrong number. He forgot to add a 1 at the beginning of the price that he sent me initially. And so whenever I hit him up like a week before, I was like, hey, just making sure we're still on. he was like, yeah, everything's still good. I think he sent me the first 100, didn't get the rest though. And I was like, I don't know. Well, you go back to your like last message. You sent me this number, so we kind of got him for a crazy bargain for the type of magician he was, because he was up at the altar like, putting our rings together at one point, giving me half a heart, her half a heart. He opened them up. It was like one big heart. He opened up the Bible, like flames coming out of the Bible.
A demon comes out.
Yeah, it's like a real reason my mother-in-law's not speaking to me right now.
Yeah, no, I would love to do that. My idea for that would be like, I would love to have a terrible magician. Like what was Arrested Development? Job?
Yeah.
I would love to have something like that where he's like, and is this your card? And like pennies just fly out and it's terrible. I would love something like that. Just a terrible. But you know what? Now you're really getting me. I'm thinking about hiring a magician to teach me how to do a really good card trick. My dad's into card tricks now. He's retired. He just looks up stuff on the internet and now is coming up with these card tricks. Just to
I love magic.
Start conversation. And when I was a kid, I used to have every magic kit. Why don't I use that as my
that's your end,
right?
Yeah. You think magic would work?
If you came up, you didn't know me, and you came up and you saw me at a bar, and I'm showing you a magic trick. What would be more impressive to you, Catherine, if I showed you a magic trick, a card trick, or me beating the first level of Super Mario Brothers 3 on my phone?
I'm at that stage right now where if you just were to mind your business,
that would be more attractive.
That would be the most attractive thing.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't you bother some girl reading a book one time at a bar?
Me?
Yeah.
That was one of his plays there for a little while, was reading a book.
Well, she was reading the book. And then I said, why don't we trade books? And I gave her my Kindle. I never got it back.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. No, but you had a play
She got a free
there.
Kindle.
You did have a play there for a little while where you were taking a book to a bar.
Yeah, but that was
like you were reading it.
That was a legit thing because I was trying to catch up on my reading. But that was back in the day.
Paperback so that they would see what it was, or
it was
hardback
like
with the cover removed?
It was like How to Talk to Girls for Dummies or whatever, something stupid. But it worked.
I see. You got to have strategies.
You do. You can't just be just like a comedian, right? You can't just come up with the same jokes.
Yeah, it's all
I was
parlor
single.
tricks.
It's all you got to come up with something.
All parlor tricks.
All right, we're gonna take a break. Hopefully Clark gets here soon, and then so that way we can. What did I say? Rhythm.
Yeah,
Razm. I think
we're not doing that.
Right. I think we're gonna do Raz. And then where's the outs here? Right here. There they are. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. And then I did have some stuff scheduled. I was in LA or Vegas this week. And went to NAB, which I'll talk about that for a little bit. Nothing too exciting happened, but it was just the biggest convention I'd ever been to. It was insane. So we'll talk about that when we come back.
Hey, it's your boy Fat Pound checking in right now, man. We got more MZ coming up next. Do not change it.
How'd you not know we had a show today? It's on the calendar. I don't understand how people are having a hard time just looking at their calendar. Hang on.
I used to, but now I don't.
No, well, I wasn't looking at my calendar.
And also, I put in Discord a couple of days ago at everyone. We have a guest, Vinny, was going to be here.
And you know what? Every time I get a message on Discord, I feel like it's there, and then I click on something, and then it's gone. And it's nowhere to be found.
I think you're just old.
Yeah. Speaking of which, that's why I think I'm developing Alzheimer's.
Well, you know what?
No,
you're not
that's
the
what's
only
going
one.
on. That's what's going on.
You're not the only one.
Oh no, me either. Yeah, me too.
Well,
I'm not the only one.
yeah, I think Eric is too. But also, our good friend Mark Garcia is also, I think, developing something mentally, because the other day he, said happy birthday. My birthday was on Friday. He said happy birthday. So thanks, man.
I thought it was yesterday.
No, it's Friday. And which, by the way, I was telling people all week it's Thursday because I was in Vegas for 2 days this week, so it threw off my whole schedule. I don't even know what day it is, but that's why I look at my calendar. So anyway, Mark texted me, happy birthday. I go, yeah. He said, are you doing anything? I'm like, no. I'm an adult with responsibilities. I got a kit, a cat, and a spider to make sure I get fed every day. So I have responsibilities. I said I might do something next year though, and he goes, oh yeah, I'm turning this age in 2 years. I said, Mark, you're turning that age next year. And he goes, no, I'm not. It's going to be in 2 years. This is all over text. I said, Mark,
because you are close to age, right?
I said, Mark, we're born the same year, right? That's what I asked him.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah. He gives me his birth date. I said, okay. And then I did math to break it down for him. Date of birth to current year. This is how old you're going to be. And he goes, wait, what? He goes, I'm going to have to check my birth certificate. I'm like, wait a minute, you don't know how old you are or when you were born? I said, you're turning this age this year. Next year, you're turning this age. It's like that simple. He goes, dude, I don't know what's happening to my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm getting dementia. But it was a whole I have the text thread. I'll show it to you guys.
Yeah.
I was like, is this a real conversation I'm having with somebody that he doesn't know how old he is?
Does he have like Mandela effect with his own birthday?
I'm like, dude, you're arguing me about math because he really was. He's like, I'm not turning this age next year. It's 2 years away. Like, no, dude, next year. It's 2025 right now. So everyone's getting Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm. I think the pandemic warped everybody's perception of time for a couple of years.
Well, yeah, but now we're 5 years past it. You know, you should at least get back to normal at this point. But I don't know what happened. But that's why, I understand people get busy or whatever, but that's why, like, it's on the calendar, it's on schedules. Like, if I didn't have a calendar and everything in my calendar every day, I would forget too. But everything's in my calendar. I look at it every day.
Yeah. Well, I am with Clark on the Discord thing. Like, that Discord is bonkers.
Well, we're fixing it up.
Okay,
it's getting better.
The AI went a little crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was going to say. And I was like,
that we had ChatGPT. So the idea was, if we were going to brainstorm something, we had instant access to ChatGPT in the Discord. You could just ask it to, hey, come up with 3, whatever, and then it would brainstorm.
Does that. It does do that.
But somehow it became sentient.
Yeah.
It really did.
And it started to just comment and insult
everything.
Like Spider was the one using Discord for like a couple of months because we sort of like abandoned it for a little bit. But we need to get back to using it.
Did AI Clark get a hold of it?
No, it's not AI Clark. Actually, I don't know if it merged with maybe the model that we have for AI Clark.
Probably what happened.
But something happened to where it was like, oh, that's a great idea, Spider.
No,
why don't you come up?
It did not ever tell me that.
No, it was
loved your ideas. It hated my ideas.
It was just like, that's another brilliant idea, but it was being sarcastic.
Yeah, it really was.
And so then I disable it. It comes back on its own.
Oh, see, that's what happened in Terminator, man. They
and
tried
then
to turn it off. And,
I go back into the settings because it says you can adjust, the settings of however you want it to do. I try to go back in there. The website would never load, so I can never change anything. So then I just had to delete the entire plugin and ban it from the deal so we can at least get something done because it would comment on everything.
It did.
So now it's gone.
You're telling Skynet to like calm down.
Yeah,
just be quiet.
You don't have to comment on everything. I hate people that have to comment on everything. Like, first off, we wouldn't even paid you. Where'd you come from? It's 2 people having a conversation. You're not invited. It's an A and B conversation. See your way out of it.
Wow.
There was something I was to get to. And I forgot what
that
it was.
a stand-up bit.
Alzheimer's.
Vinny.
Yeah, how do you like that, Vinny? You like that from my stand-up? I was
He
so
did laugh.
bad.
He did laugh.
I was so bad at stand-up because I'm like a late bloomer in a lot of things. So I started doing stand-up when I was 18, and I was still like. The comedians I knew were like impressionists, and I'm a terrible impressionist. So I would go up and do like Jimmy Stewart impressions to a drunk crowd of 3 people. And I would just try to, like, my view of the world was just so, people aren't ready for it.
Askew.
Yeah. And so I did really well. I used to do backdoor comedy, which, you can only do clean there.
That's where I started.
And
actually.
I think it's important to start there because I think it's harder to do clean than it is to do blue. And if you can master clean, you can master anything.
I agree 100% and
disagree 100%. Oh, that's what you're gonna say.
No. It pays better too because you get way more private gigs and corporate gigs.
Yeah, because they're not worried about what you're gonna say, right?
Yeah, and in some ways, because backdoor I would still consider like my home club. Like if I'm not working like out of state or like at another club, I'll be a backdoor on a weekend.
Yep.
And it really does make you a better writer because it's like, so I'll give you an example. There was a joke I used to have about how I used to work at Freebirds. You guys know Freebirds?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the joke was basically about how I got fired there for sticking my balls in the Spanish rice. Okay? I can't say that at a clean club.
Sure.
Right? So I rewrote it, and then I changed it to how I got fired for impregnating the Spanish rice.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, it becomes cleaner and dirtier
at
the same
Yeah,
time.
it really did.
And it took like needing like confines of like where like the edge is, so like how close you can actually get for you to like be able to like come up with that in the first place.
I feel like people like, I need creative freedom and I need this. Sometimes the boundaries actually force you to be even more creative than you thought. Like if you imagine a film crew that has $1,000 budget versus somebody who has $250 million budget, you're going to be more creative and make things work with that $1,000 budget. When your $250,000 budget, you can just do whatever you want.
Oh,
or $1 million,
sure.
or you know what I mean?
You guys watch White Lotus?
I was gonna.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you talked about that because I was just about to ask.
HBO approached Mike White and was like, because it was during the pandemic, and they were like, "Can you write us something that takes place in one location,
Right.
basically?" And then he came up with that.
Yeah. But have you? I haven't watched it. That's what I was going to ask.
I
Does
watched
anybody
it.
in here watch it? Do you
I've
watch it,
watched
Kevin?
it.
It's very good.
I don't.
Okay.
Very well written.
I'm on the fence about it.
Yeah, my hair girl was just telling me about it the other day. She goes, I think you're really going to like it. You don't have to start in season 1. You can start in season 2 or whatever. But the more I look at it, it looks more like a soap opera. Is that kind of what it is in a hotel?
Yeah, it's just like it's a nice way to gives you permission to hate the rich.
Yeah, but I feel like there's
in
enough.
a very funny way.
Like Severance's or not Severance, Succession. That was a good one
Silo.
to hate the rich.
Oh yeah, that one was a
you
good
know?
one too. Yeah.
But I feel like I don't want to get involved in all that. Like I feel like it's too much. Is
That
every
one-
season
that
different?
one was very tension. There were a lot of the White Lotus.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, they all take place in like different cities at luxury resorts or whatever.
So it's a different group pretty much every.
Pretty much, but there
season.
are some recurring characters. So
Okay.
it would help
Yeah.
if you started season 1 because there are some through lines.
Yeah.
Are you gonna watch it, Eric? You think?
I know I've been watching it.
Oh, you have?
The only reason I watched season 1 was because of season 2, because Jennifer Coolidge was on there. Season 2, I would say just watch season 2. 1 and 3, it's a real slow burn. I had it really for background noise and to kind of, I don't know, just have it on so I knew what
Such a
social
Taurus.
media-
Such a Taurus.
what social media was saying. But other than that, it's really not anything groundbreaking.
Well, the best parts for 2 of the seasons has been spoiled for me, and like when it was spoiled for me, and people told me like, "Dude, this is the greatest part. This is like the most screwed up stuff you hear," and like because it was on I heard it on the radio.
Oh, okay.
And after hearing that, I was like,
Yeah.
whatever built up to that, I'm like, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, I already know what happens in the finale. I know what Schwarzenegger does.
Well, that they talked about that too. But the Walter Goggins.
How do you not know his name? It's one of the best actors.
Because I don't watch
alive
any of
today.
his stuff.
Wow.
I don't watch any of his stuff.
You know what?
Dude, he's
Righteous
great.
Gemstones?
Fallout.
No.
Fallout?
Nope, I don't watch Fallout.
Boy, you got to get your TV game
The
up.
Hateful Eight, he was great.
Mm-hmm. Baby
I mean,
Billy.
I'm not saying that he's a bad actor. I just don't watch the stuff that he's in.
Oh, watch Righteous Gemstones. You like Baby Billy's the best character
Watch
in that
Fallout.
whole. Fallout's great too. Yeah.
I don't like Fallout. I don't like Fallout.
Okay.
The TV
games,
show.
The games. No, I'm not gonna watch. I'm not gonna watch a show.
The TV show's better than the game.
Yeah, I don't watch. I didn't play the game.
Still not gonna go down that road.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
But so yeah, the things that happen in White Lotus, I feel like my life is way more entertaining than me watching that show. Like everybody was so
Well, I'm not that arrogant about it, but sure.
Well, I felt the same way about like Breaking Bad. Like I never could get into Breaking Bad because I felt like it was so slow. All right, here's a school teacher becomes a drug lord or whatever. I'm sure that happens in Oak Cliff all the time. Well, and you're setting it in the most basic, in the desert or whatever. I just never, I could never get into it because of that. And I tried very hard.
Oh, I love that show.
I know a lot of people did. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's a great show. I just couldn't do it. And I've seen the finale. I've seen most of the first season. I've seen, spotted episodes here and there. I tried to find something that hooked me in and I just couldn't do it.
It took me a while to get into Breaking Bad. It took me at least watch a couple seasons to get into it.
Yeah.
But I love Better Call Saul more than I like Breaking
That's
Bad.
what everyone tells me.
Better Call
Yeah.
Saul was so good.
Kind of want to try that. But I did watch a couple of movies on the plane to Vegas this week. I went to Vegas for NAB, which is, by the way, the biggest thing I've ever been to.
Was it in the convention center?
Yeah.
Was it like a full hall or multiple halls?
Multiple halls.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't even, so we get there, we register, and I go, where's the exhibit? And I'm thinking it's one hall, because I'm used to going to Comic-Cons and, whatever, and just in one hall. The guy goes, it's in the South Hall. I said, okay, how do we get there? He goes, go to the Tesla loop. So you get in a little Tesla car and a guy drives you underneath the ground.
Oh.
He goes, that's kind of cool. So we get there and I'm looking for a couple of vendors that we work with, and I can't find them on the map. So I'm like, I know they're here. Like they have a big old banner on the outside of the building. I can't find them anywhere. And then I flip the page. There's 2 other halls. So I'm there for 4 or 5 hours, and I don't even have time to see everything. I walk around one. Imagine Clark, the Dallas Convention Center, right?
Yeah, it's like 4 of those.
Yeah.
One hall is like 4 of those. Imagine 3 now.
Whoa.
And I'm there, and I get there at 12 or 1, and I'm thinking I'm only going to be there for a couple hours. No, I'm there till almost 5 till they close, and I still haven't seen everything. I've walked around the buildings, but I haven't seen everything because it's just not enough time. You have to like speed walk through everything, and then I can talk to this person or I can talk to this person. I'm gonna have to cut one off because I can't talk to both. I don't have the time. So next year, if I do go, I have to do 3 days minimum because you just can't see everything. A lot of cool stuff. I'm always looking at things to upgrade here in the studio and what's coming down the pike technology wise. And it was really cool. I got to talk to some people that are building some software that we might be implementing soon. And so it was really cool. I just wish I had more time. But anyway, on the plane, I watched Wolves, Apple TV, George Clooney, Brad Pitt. Anybody seen that?
No.
It's good.
Skipped over it. Comedy spy.
It's kind of the equivalent. It's like a Ocean's 11. So you got the comedy in there. You got the the mystery or whatever they're trying to do. And it's Brad Pitt, George Clooney. They got good chemistry. I liked it.
Good.
Then I try to watch Y2K, but then the little warning comes up. It's Kyle Mooney. I love Kyle Mooney.
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
It's a terrible movie, but it's got some great funny moments in it. It's just a cheese. Kyle Mooney.
I love Kyle Mooney.
So
his
great.
Whole vision. I love him.
Have you seen his cartoon on Netflix? Saturday morning, whatever.
I don't have Netflix.
I don't either, but I turned it on just for that.
Okay.
When it came out, and I think they're doing a season 2. But his whole thing is so funny. It's nostalgic. You got the AOL chat rooms and you got all this stuff. It's pretty funny. But it's overall a terrible. Don't buy it, but definitely go watch it. But I saw nudity pop up on the little rating, and I'm on a plane with a big iPad, and I'm like, I probably shouldn't watch that.
Yeah,
so
that's been a problem recently.
Yeah, everything I think is safe. I'm watching the plane. It's not safe. Do you think about that, Vinny? When you go on a plane, do you think about what am I downloading on here that children might see?
No? I sometimes I'll just raw dog it and just
Clark does that.
No
That's strange
headphones, no anything.
I'm a child.
Book.
I gotta have.
I'll just sit
snacks.
there.
I gotta have iPad. I bring a video game just in case I want to play a video game. I don't know what I'm gonna be in the mood for.
No, I don't even do podcasts or anything like that. I just like to sit alone with my thoughts.
Do you write? Do you write in your head?
I'm writing. I just got napkins everywhere. Just
Yeah.
So
I wish I could do that. I don't have. I'm too ADD. I can't do it. I want to be like that though. We went to Vegas a couple of years ago, and Clark just sat there like this the whole time, looking straight at the seat.
Yeah. No headphones.
I was tired.
No headphones. No, he didn't bring anything. We were there for a day.
I was tired. Excuse me.
But both flights.
Yeah.
And
it was also.
I'm like, dude, do you need
this
something?
the Frontier flight?
I don't know.
It was so
the one you and I went.
There was nothing you could do to enhance the flight. So I was just like, I might as well just sit here in boredom and stare at the back of this, seat
for 3 hours. It's incredible. I wish I had that kind of dedication. I can't do that. You give me 30 seconds of staring at a blank wall, and I start getting very antsy.
Have you ever tried meditating, Mike?
Yeah, I can't. I don't have enough. He's clear.
You ever tried taking the hamster off the wheel?
It's clear your mind, right? You're listening to the guided meditation or whatever, and I'm like, how am I going to clear my mind? This is the thought that goes. How am I going to clear my mind? What is that like? I have no control over that. I've tried. You give me a thought, I'm there. I'm thinking of 15 different things. I can never clear my mind.
Or they can never rebuttal back to that.
Yeah.
What do you mean clear my mind?
Or the instructor or whatever, just let go of everything. I'm like, well, they said everything kind of weird. That's weird. I'm going to say it like that. Why they have that inflection on it? I can't do it. So I envy people like that. But I've gotten better. As I've gotten older, I've gotten better. I know that there are things that I can probably listen to music or something. I don't have to be, fully immersed into something, but I'm not as bad as an iPad kid, but I do have to have, I need to be
stimulated
or doing something productive. So sometimes I'm working on something on my laptop or whatever.
Well, that's good. As long as it's net productive,
right.
it's I think it's positive.
Or sometimes
overall.
I use a plane flight to catch up on TV shows because I don't have time to watch them during the week. So I use that as I got 3 hours to watch whatever I want. So this is a time to veg out, essentially, and rot.
Right.
So, but yeah.
I have a show that, did you watch?
Okay, yeah.
USS Callister Into the Infinity?
Oh, no, I haven't turned on my Netflix to watch it yet.
What?
Oh, that's right.
Black Mirror.
I
thought about
USS Callister.
You know what I'm going to probably do?
Episode.
Is there nudity in it?
No.
Okay, I'll download it on the flight to LA.
Okay.
And watch it then.
Yeah. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Is that the new Black Mirror?
Yeah, new season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's an episode in the last season, I think season 6. It's kind of like a play on Star Trek.
Yeah.
With
I remember that Jesse Plemons was in it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a great episode.
So
and I'm a big Star Trek fan, so was Eric, and so that was a great episode. And then they're doing a sequel to it in the new season. So I thought about downloading it, but as far as everything else goes, Vegas to report. I mean, other than my mind being blown by NAB and how big everything was.
No gambling or anything?
No gambling. I was there.
You didn't go to a Jabberwocky show or anything?
No, I didn't do anything. I mean, we go to Vegas all the time. So, and Vegas is different. You know what I mean? It's not like the same anymore.
Oh, really?
It's all family oriented. If I had my choice, I would stay in a resort, like the hotel the whole time. I would never leave. I would just be able to sleep in bed, just relax.
You'd be like a White Lotus character.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be Walter Goggins or Schwarzenegger's son. But we didn't do any of that. We went to the NAB. I did do a buffet. I went to the one we went to. It wasn't bad. And then I took a nap, went to the strip, which I haven't been to the strip in years. Was out there for about an hour, was over it, went back to bed. Woke up the next morning, went to have breakfast. I don't know where I had breakfast at. And then went to Blacktop. You ever been there, Eric?
No, I don't know. What
they have a cake
with a question mark, like
shake. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's even the name of it. I think we have one here in Dallas, actually, in Victory Park. But it's they give you shakes and they have like a cake on top. Oh, I accidentally sent that to Clark on accident.
Yeah,
I was sending him something else.
I was so confused by that picture, and I was like, "What is this trash?"
I was trying to show that we got our media passes cleared for the Comic-Con.
I know, and he sent me a picture of like two pieces of cheesecake on top of a milkshake, and it was strawberries.
Yeah,
which I hate strawberries.
I'm allergic.
I'm like, I'm like, what is this crap?
I had that right before I went on a plane all the way back. So I spent just the right amount of time in Vegas before I got to. How many times you been to Vegas, Vinny?
I've never been to Las Vegas.
Have you never?
No.
Definitely go. Y'all should do your honeymoon there. How long you been married?
So coming up on 6 years.
There you go. Never too late. Where did you do your honeymoon?
We went to a concert at Red Rocks in Colorado.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I think we saw Wolfpack and Khruangbin.
Never heard of them. They're playing at Coachella, I'm sure, this weekend?
No,
oh.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Khruangbin was just in Dallas a couple nights ago.
That's cool.
Yeah, we were going to go see him, but we went to go to the Chiodos concert instead. You guys know Chiodos?
No.
Emo band from like 2006.
I only know what's ever playing on 106.1 Kiss FM here in Dallas. That's it. I just know pop. Every now and then I'll hear a new artist on my Spotify mix, something they'll give me, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Who's this person? And they've been around for like 20 years, and I've just never heard of them.
Wow.
So
I really thought I was going to connect with you on the Chiodos
music?
thing.
Yeah.
Music, I saw your hairstyle, and I was like, yeah, he would be into it.
No, I'm a culture vulture. I just take what they use, and I adapt it to myself.
He took that straight off an 80s sitcom.
Yeah. This is the Danny Tanner. What are you talking about? This is Full House.
Okay.
Also, I was a big fan of Ryan Cabrera back in the day.
Oh yeah.
His hairstyle. Remember he had the Porcupine song. He was the one who did that song All the Way Down, right? That song.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, why is that name so familiar? Is that what his biggest song was?
That was his only song. Yeah. He's a Dallas guy too. He's from here.
Yeah,
but he had back in the day his hair was like porcupine, and I always wanted to like that. But that was his only hit. That's why you don't know who he is. He dated Ashley Simpson for a little bit.
Yeah.
Ah, there it is.
So
probably seen a picture of him in a fedora at one point, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you took her hairstyle.
Yeah, then you took her hairstyle.
No, you did.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm doing the Jessica Simpson right now. I'm doing the whole family. Joe's coming up next. All right, I do have
OJ after that. Huh?
I do have a story that I don't think I've ever told on the show about Bone Thugs and Harmony, and I'm going to only tell it because John Mulaney said something about something that happened recently, and I felt like it was very similar to what we experienced a few years ago. So we're right back, and we'll talk about that.
MZ Now.
Yo, what's up? Jamie Kennedy and Michael Zavala will be right back.
Online at mznow.tv.
All right, this clip was originally 10 minutes long. I think we cut it down to under 2 minutes, but I'm going to play it. This is John Mulaney on his new Netflix show. And he's talking about something that, I don't know, might be a little familiar to us. Let me find it here. Oh, let me turn up the volume. That's not it. This one.
For Bone Thugs and Harmony. We reach out to a contact we find online for Bone Thugs and Harmony. And we schedule a...
Now, that didn't happen to us. Jaime knew somebody who knew Bone Thugs. And they asked if I wanted to have them on the show. And I said, sure, put us in contact. So that's what happened to us.
Zoom with their manager. 3 weeks ago, my writers and I get on this Zoom with just the manager. Let me be clear. The manager assures us that they're really into the idea and want to do it, and they really like the script. We're in business. But the manager then says, hey, you won't get all 5 of them. One of...
Sound familiar?
I ask, which one? And I'm 100% serious. He says, Busy Bone. Which makes sense. that he would be the hardest to schedule. On Thursday of last week, just this past Thursday, I checked back in because they had not signed their contract yet. The manager says, in order to get there next week, we need $2,800 cash of just running around money. Then I hear, forget the $2,800 cash, just give us all the money for the appearance up front. I said, I can't do that. I cannot give you all of the money up front. I can give you half 2 days ago on Monday. I am told that Bone Thugs and Harmony, booked on this show since the first week in March, are in the studio all week and cannot be on the show. But he's like, don't worry, we can get this all wrapped up and be there next week for blank dollars. How much do you think that the original fee was going to be $15,000, half up front? How much do you think they asked for on Monday? They asked for $100,000. After a little investigating, I have come to believe that the man I was talking to was not the manager of Bone Thugs and Harmony. In fact, several sites list a different person. Also, Busy Bone is scheduled to appear at all upcoming shows. So it appears it isn't so hard to get the fellas together. I'm concerned now that I never had any direct contact with Bone Thugs and Harmony.
All right. John doesn't think that he was talking to a real rep from Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Sounds like he was.
I'm going to say, I'm going to tell you what happened to us. You tell me if this story sounds similar to what John went through. Obviously, we didn't pay $100,000. But what happened was a tattoo man in our building, our last studio, had a client that knew somebody who knew Bone Thugs or whatever, or the management, and they asked if we want to have him on the show. Now, at this point, Straight Outta Compton had just come out, and I loved the movie, and I loved that era of music. I said, sure, I would love to have Bone Thugs because I want to talk about that period in their life, right? So I don't remember exactly what happened, but I'm on the phone with the management, already sounding very similar with John's story. And the management loves what we, they're going to come to town. They said, yes, they'll bring in some Bone Thugs in. We can't have all of them. We're only going to get 2. And I said, that's fine. We couldn't, our studio wasn't big enough to even have all 4 or 5 of them there.
Yeah, it might have been the size of that table y'all are sitting.
Right. So 2 is fine. And they said it's going to be, I think it was like $2,500 or something like that to get them. Now, I've been doing this. Next year will be 20 years I've been doing this. I have never paid a guest. So already I'm kind of like, I don't know that I want to do this, right? But again, you got me at the right time because Bone Thugs and Harmony and Straight Outta Compton and all this stuff is popping right now. And I loved it so much, like this, I have to do it. So, and we had just built our studio. We had expenses now. Like this is coming out of my pocket now because the studio can't afford it. The show can't afford it. We just built this whole thing out.
You're looking at it like an investment in the show, basically. You're like,
not even that. I'm looking at it as like, I just really want to talk about this period in time. Like I'm not even thinking of a way to monetize this interview by any way. Okay. And by the way, it's not normal to be paying somebody for a radio interview or a podcast. It's not normal. That's not what people do. No, if somebody's going to promote their concert, they're going to call into a local radio station. That station's not paying them $2,500 to come on and talk about whatever they're talking about. So this is already not normal. And I've interviewed people bigger than Bone Thugs and never had this issue, right? But I bite the bullet. I say, go ahead, I'm going to do this. They want like $1,500 wired to them. And I say, okay, I can do that. I don't know how to wire, though. I've never wired money. How do I do it? They say, you just go to Walmart and, you just send us the money and whatever. So I feel a little shady about all of this. And then they want the other part of it cash when they arrive. So if I'm going to do something shady, I'm going all the way. I go to the ATM, I get the money out, I put it in a manila envelope, fold it up, put it in my shirt. I do the whole thing, right? And so I think it's settled. It's a big chunk of money. I can't really even afford it at this time. But I think it's going to be worth it. I'm excited to talk to 2 Bone Thugs. Bone Thugs means a lot.
2 bones, 1 thug.
Right. The Bone Thugs means a lot to me growing up and all that stuff. So I'm really excited. So maybe like a week before they were supposed to be in town, I get a phone call from the management again. Hey, we got to make sure you have food there because they might be hungry. And in my mind, I'm thinking, but they're going to go to the venue and they're going to have all, that's part of their rider. They go and they have food and whatever. I said, okay, we can get some food for them. What do you want? Just whatever. Just put out some stuff. I said, okay, we can do that. And also, they're going to need some drinks. So make sure you have alcohol there. All right. So there's more money I got to spend, right? And also, make sure they got a little something. because Bone Thugs, these are old school guys.
Are we talking Leafy?
Yeah.
Are we talking Cocoa?
Yeah. Leafy.
Women, I thought
Luckily, we had a little.
Yeah, or women, because you are a Harry Hines.
Luckily, we had a little. I don't know what his name was, but he was a little guy. I think he lived at the studio for a little bit. I don't know what he was doing, but he could get us whatever. I say, hey man, Bone Thugs is coming in, and they want a little something. Something. Can you make sure that we have that here? Because I don't know this guy, so if he gets arrested or whatever. But at the time, it wasn't as flexible as it is now, So now I got to spend all this money to put this whole thing together for a 1-hour interview. They're just coming in. Oh, we'll handle the transportation. Cool, I get that. That's totally fine. But now it's a 1-hour interview. Just coming in, and then we're sending them back to the venue. That's it. Why am I feeding them and getting them drinks and all that stuff? It doesn't make any sense. This is not normal. So, and the guys are very like old school type guys. Like it sounds like I'm talking to the mob when I'm on the phone with them, right? So, but anyway, it seems like it's all going to work. I'm hoping they're going to show up. I'm prepping my interview. I've got all these questions for who we know is going to be there. And about maybe the day before or the day of, I get a phone call from these guys, and they go, "Hey, bad news. We're only giving you one Bone Thug because the other one can't make it." Again, does it sound like a lot like John Mulaney's situation here? So I go, okay, that's fine. And we had Flesh and Bone was great. The only problem is Flesh was locked up during a big portion of this time when I want to talk about. But he knew the stories. He came prepared. He did a great job. But I would really like to talk to somebody who was there, not locked up, touring and doing all this stuff. So I said, it's fine, whatever. Maybe we can get him at another time. He goes, no, Mike, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give you 2 VIP passes to the concert, which I already had tickets to the concert. So I was like, okay, cool. We had a couple of friends that were going to be there. So I just said we could probably give them the VIP passes and they can have a good time.
It was her birthday.
Oh, that's right. It was Brittany's birthday, right? Yeah. So I said, yeah, we'll just do that. That'll be a good birthday gift. They can enjoy it. She was a big fan of the group, and her and her friend, they can do whatever. We have everything set up. One side of the building, we have food, alcohol. We got that little drug guy, whatever his name was. He's hanging around there, a little gremlin.
And I think he's got, you should put some respect on his name.
I don't remember his name. I would respect on it. I just don't remember his name.
All right, well.
And I'm pretty sure he did live there for a period of time. Which is good because I'd be like, hey, can you watch the stuff? Or can you do this?
Like
or whatever?
Studio troll or something.
Yeah.
The way you're describing him.
He was just there.
There's a few of those.
Yeah. We sent Jaime as security with an Uber to go pick him up. Uber Black. We didn't spare any expense here. They go pick him up. It's Flesh and Bone and his manager, his road manager. And they bring him in. Like we show him the table and everything, all the food that we had laid out, all the drinks. And Flesh goes, can I just have a water? I'm like, yeah, sure. So we get him a water, ice. You sure you don't want anything else? I mean, we bought all this stuff. He goes, no, I'm good. I just need a water. The manager goes in and goes, hey, where's that stuff? The something. And so I get him hooked up with the other guy. And then he pours himself a drink. He gets the food. And then we walk Flesh back to the studio and we start to have the interview. And it's a really great interview. And then, after the interview's done, we take pictures, and I'm like, are you sure you don't want any of this food and stuff, Flesh? And he goes, no, I'm good. We're going to perform here in a little bit. So
yeah, Vinny's taking care of that.
Yeah. So I sit there and I go, well, we're about to have, it's November. So in a few weeks, we're going to have our Christmas show / Christmas party. So I'm like, well, all the money we spend on this alcohol and stuff, we can just save that for a couple of weeks, and then we can have it. That'll save me money, right? Nope. The manager comes, takes all the bottles with them back to the venue.
Right.
So I'm like, did we just spread out a whole table and all this stuff just for the manager? Because Flesh didn't have anything. He didn't do anything. He just drank water the whole time. So I'm a little pissed at that, right? Not a big deal. We're all getting ready to go to the concert that night. We shut down the studio. We go to the concert. I go to Will Call to get these tickets, these VIP tickets that, I paid $2,000 for basically. And the guy goes, they don't have any tickets under your name here. So now I got to go text the other manager that I've been talking to. They finally get them there. I give the tickets out to the girls. They go up, and I don't see them again the rest of the night. And I think I left early. So I wasn't even there at the end to see everybody. I left after I saw them do all their hits and everything. And then the next day I text her. I'm like, hey, how was the VIP? Oh, that wasn't VIP. Those were general admission tickets. And you know how much general admission tickets were? $10.
Oh. Wow.
So I spent money for 2 Bone Thugs, got one, and 2 $10 tickets, basically. So I'm furious at this point. So I'm like, well, the next time they come to town, I'm going to send an email to see if we can get another bone, right? We deserve, I have a bone to pick with them. They deserve to give me another bone for the money that I paid. And so next year they come to town. They're playing in Fort Worth, and I emailed the management and I say, hey, we paid this much money. This was the agreement. This didn't happen. You gave us 2 general admission tickets, blah, blah, blah. I get a phone call. Again, it's like talking to them up. Hey, buddy, we made it right. We gave you 2 tickets and blah, 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 blah. I said, yeah, but they're general admission tickets. Yeah, but we can't do anything about it now. It's too late. You should have told. I said, we couldn't have told you anything. We were in the middle of the concert. Like there was. So anyway, he said, we could definitely have Bone Thugs come back and do your show, whatever. But, you're going to have to pay. And I'm like, I'm not going to do this again. So anyway, we have never had Bone Thugs on again. And I want to make this very clear. It's not Bone Thugs. Like Flesh was great. It's the representation. And I feel like it's very old school. Like maybe they've been with them for 20 years or whatever. I have my theories of what's actually going on behind the scenes. And if I was friends with Bone Thugs, I would say, hey, probably get some better representation.
Yeah.
You could be going out there. If people understood the power of, YouTube and podcasts and radio, and that you guys should be on somewhere all the time.
They're probably
talking
losing opportunities.
Absolutely.
Because of that,
100%. And so anyway, that's what happened to us. So hearing John's story, hearing our story, do you think he's talking to their management?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it seems like too much Bone Thugs, not enough harmony.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And so I was hoping that the management, they would have changed out management at some point.
I think it was the same guy.
I think it's the same guy. And I know that the road manager guy is still with him because we're connected on LinkedIn, and he's always promoting the stuff. So apparently Bone's happy with them. But I would think that they should probably, if I was, their advisor, I would say you probably should get another.
It's probably like an old uncle or something that they just
all white guys
can't shake.
They're all white guys.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, no, they're all white guys, and they're the ones I think getting all the benefit of. Mm-hmm. I think they're getting a better end of the deal, basically. The management.
Oh yeah.
So
wow, that's wild. Yeah.
Now I'm not saying don't book Bone Thugs. I say don't listen. I love Bone Thugs.
No, this seems like a plea for them to reassess their management.
Yeah,
really.
Look at how it appears to other people.
They could have been on Netflix here. They could have been.
That's what I think happened. I think first of all, they probably didn't know who John Mulaney. They're old school guys. They don't know who John Mulaney is.
Know.
Some comedian probably think it's like a web show or a TV show. So they offer $15,000. John doesn't flinch at the $15,000. So they're like, oh, cool. And they realize, oh, it's a Netflix show. Oh, well, Netflix has got money.
Yeah.
So we're going to hold him for $100,000. I 100% think he was talking to the management.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds exactly who the people I was talking to. Or unless we were talking to like a booker. We could have been talking to a booker, that takes a commission off the top. And maybe that's not really how Bone Thugs works. But I don't know. I handed the road manager a wad of cash in a manila envelope, and he took it. And he knew what was going on. And he knew that they were going to have this and they're going to have that. He knew what was going on. So, and he's been with them and he's still with them. So I don't know. I think... I don't know where I'm going with that, but I feel vindicated because somebody else had the same experience.
That, like his experience kind of validated like what you went through.
Right,
You're like,
and I never
not alone. They're not just burning me.
Right. They're burning everybody.
Yeah.
Netflix and us. So we're just as big as Netflix in my mind.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, that was it brought up PTSD. I've never told that story because I was always I thought maybe it was just a one-off thing on our end, but now that I know it's not. I figured I would tell the story.
So if we go downstairs, like when we ride the elevator down and we're getting off the elevator, there's a guy that's like, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
He's just like standing there. You got a problem with the booking?
Yeah, he said, I got you 2 general admission tickets. I feel like it is the mob, though, probably. So.
Probably.
But, I mean, it's out there. If anything happens to me. All right, let's do some polls. And then, so what we do, Vinny, here is sometimes when we remember, we'll actually put... on YouTube, we'll say, hey, here's a poll, and then we try to guess what the audience picks.
I
okay?
You. Yeah.
So, for example, here we go. Here's number 1. Why do you go to Vegas? The options are the buffet, conventions, shows, or gambling. Which one do you think is number 1?
Gambling.
Shows.
78%. Gambling. Which I didn't see hardly anybody gambling when I was there. Of course, I was there on a Tuesday, so it wasn't like it was a weekend. But
it's not just like out in the open, though. Like,
it might be sports betting or whatever.
Right. These are YouTube polls.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I guess because I'm trying to think in mind of who would be on YouTube answering these questions, and like whenever I go like to a casino or something, it's just like old people just gambling away their retirement.
Right.
So I'm like, these people would not be answering YouTube polls.
Yeah. Right.
I guess I was
maybe
wrong.
It links to Facebook somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it does. Which is the fakest social media platform? LinkedIn, TikTok, or Instagram? And in my opinion, there's only one right answer.
Fake in terms of.
Ooh, I think I know that.
Like the people who are content creators are fake, or like
no,
the
I just mean like
platform itself is fake.
You
like
acting
TikTok
fake.
blows up
fake.
your,
Like you
inflates your view count.
It has to be LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn.
It has to be.
Yeah,
okay.
Ain't nobody acting genuine on LinkedIn.
Right.
TikTok seems the most genuine. Like people are unhinged on TikTok. Like
Yeah.
it's their real selves, and it gets like
Yeah.
rewarded.
55% people say TikTok, which I totally disagree with. Number 2 was Instagram, which you kind of expect fake from Instagram, right? You expect the little models and the whatever.
It's a highlight reel.
It's
yeah,
a highlight reel,
reels.
right? But in my opinion, I think everyone's correct. 9% LinkedIn is the fakest platform because no one's talking like that.
Fun fact, never been on it.
You don't need to be on it.
I would have thought you were on
There's
it.
never been a reason for it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
can believe
first
that.
off, you got to be in corporate America, I think, to really be in it. But even if you were just a regular person
Even
trying
if
to look,
you are there, it sucks.
it's not real. There's nobody having a real conversation
Oh
there.
my god, it's like everybody's talking to you like a corporate manager.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like, "Hey, here's my 8 tips to success for conquering."
You know, I was driving to work today and I saw a mother duck and a baby duck, and I thought to myself,
yeah,
and it has some inspirational story. But meanwhile, it's been posted 3 or 4 times before. Like it's all fake.
it's everybody sitting there trying to like show how they can add value to your corporate experience / career, and it's so fake.
Yeah, nobody talks like that. So
everybody's like on a TED Talk on that thing.
exactly. Meanwhile, they're just the front desk answering phones.
Yeah.
Which place is the most overrated? Waffle House, In-N-Out, Portillo's, or Whataburger?
In-N-Out.
Internet, yeah.
Yeah.
41% In-N-Out. I think, in my opinion, it's Portillo's 6%. Because if you go to Chicago, everyone's like, "Oh, go to Portillo's," and you go there, and it's just a really cheap, disgusting hot dog and burger.
Can I say that like I think Waffle House is perfectly rated?
Yeah. You know what you're getting,
but also
and what you're getting into.
But also I think people overhype the Waffle House experience.
Well,
Does that make
99% of the people there are drunk?
Yeah, they think it's incredible.
Right.
But
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. I've never had a great time there, but I mean, I enjoy the food at that late hour.
I've been drunk and I still thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but no one said it's the greatest restaurant.
Yeah, but you throw a plate of bacon in front of Michael and he's satisfied.
No,
True.
I'm going to say I'll take that plate of bacon, also
And
a side of
another.
ham and sausage.
Jeez.
They say, what kind of meat do you want? I said, all of it.
Give me the pig.
You know how breakfast costs me so much money because of all the add-ons I have to do. Because they're like, do you want a sausage, bacon, blah, 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 or jalapeno sausage or regular sausage? Yes, I'll take it all. All right,
Shove
Vinny.
that pork in my mouth.
That's right. Vinny, you're headlining soon somewhere at a comedy club near Dallas, right?
Addison Improv, April 24th.
Wow, you're headlining.
Yeah, I'm doing my new hour. And
An hour? You have an hour?
We're going to film it. Yeah, this will be my 3rd hour.
Is it so hard to come up with like an hour? Like how long is it? A year? Do you take a year to come up with an hour?
No, I'm not like those people are crazy. Like Louis C.K. and like
well,
George
yeah.
Carlin back in the day.
Yeah, well, Louis C.K. is crazy, yeah, but
yeah, I mean it. I mean, I would say maybe every 3 years.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
I can get like an hour.
At least you can do that. It's been taking me like 20 years to write a new joke.
Yeah, he's got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a long, arduous process, and I thought I was ready to tape it last September, but I was like, nah, I don't think I'm ready yet. So I just wanted to polish some things and just kind of clean up. But I'm very proud of how it's humming right now. So.
Where do you put it once you film it?
It'll be. I'll put it up on YouTube for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Is that pay per view or you just
No,
put it out there?
just put it up there.
How good are your so? Do you see value as a comedian, and let's say up and coming comedians? They film their set, whatever. You're getting it probably professionally done, but people that just have their cell phone, maybe a mic on them or whatever. The clips on YouTube and TikTok and all that are pretty valuable, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, but it's kind of a double-edged sword. Just some people are just writing for the clips.
Yeah,
they're not really like working out a bit or like. Also, like when you put something out there, you're like kind of implying like it's finished and it's like ready to be viewed. But yeah,
Right.
I'm a little bit more precious with my material.
Yeah, I think the smart play is putting crowd work out.
Yeah, so
Yeah, but
so they
then-
really don't know what your material is, right?
Yeah. So that's definitely like a popular like tactic that comics use just so that they don't have to burn their own material. But like I run a show out in downtown Plano, the Cowabunga comedy shows. unanimously described as the best indie show in Texas. Okay, we get comics from Netflix, we get comics from HBO, Comedy Central come out here and do it. Free show at the Fillmore last Wednesdays if anybody wants to come.
The Fillmore.
Yeah. But so we turned that place, basically we turned that place into a comedy club on last Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays?
Last Wednesdays.
But don't they go... So the Fillmore across the street is Vickery Park.
Yeah, we do an open mic there every Monday.
Yeah.
Every Monday.
And there's a train, so I can get just blasted. And
yeah, the Dart is right there.
Oh, the Dart. I thought you were talking about another type of train.
And I can just roll it down to my apartment.
Yeah, but at those Cowabunga shows, I'll notice like people will come up and they'll be like, "Man, that was really funny." Because I host them and I do like 5 to 7 up top, but then I'm just like bringing 3 or 4 people that I just want to showcase people I really am like fans of, that I think are funny, and they'll I mean it's getting more popular over the last year or so. We've been doing this show for about 2 years, but they'll be, "Man, that was a really funny show, but I thought there was going to be more crowd work." And I'm like, "Why do you think that?" And they're like, "Well, that's what I see online."
Oh, yeah.
Like, so now these people, so
they're expecting to get roasted.
It's like
or they're running. They go there with the expectation of like, oh, crowd participation is like wanted here, so I'm going to like.
Do you just refer them down to go to Dick's Last Resort? Like if you want to get heckled, go to Dick's. Like why are you here? Like this is we're showcasing art here instead.
I got fired from Dick's when I was 16.
Did you really?
For disrespect, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Of a customer or of a staff?
A staff. My manager. You would think you would get like promotion.
Yeah,
right.
Gold star.
Yeah,
at the very
you're a store
least
manager
a raise,
now.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on? I have a very strong opinion on this, and I've had talks with. This is why I don't do stand up. Is because it's so difficult for me to write new material. I feel like I'm not an actor. Like I can't go in and perform the same material 2 years in a row and make myself think it's funny because it's not funny. I already know the joke. It's not funny to me anymore.
Right.
So I was always big on like people that have fresh takes on things, but it's so hard. That's a very hard thing. So it's like I can't do it. But there's a lot of comedians out there that I know who have been doing this for 20, 30 years, and they just tell the same jokes all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if you can have like material that's like evergreen and just that will just be timeless, I mean, Jay Leno does that. Jay Leno, that's why he doesn't do like specials or like do anything for like Netflix or anything.
Yeah, but here's the thing: these guys are doing specials, and you go see their show, and they're doing the exact same joke.
Oh yeah,
and in their mind, they're thinking they're like some of the people I've talked to. They're like, well, when you go to Rolling Stones or whatever, you want to hear their greatest hits. I'm like, but that's different. Music's different than a joke. The joke is the unexpected, the punchline.
Yeah.
If you already know the punchline, then it's not going to be as funny anymore. So I have that problem, and that's why it makes it difficult for me to write comedy.
There's people that like will do new material, and then at the end of the show, we'll do a few greatest hits. Or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
That's fine. When your entire act, there's a particular comedian I'll tell you off the show. Who I love. I love this guy. But I've seen him probably more than any other comedian. And he's not a great stand-up, right? It's not like, that's not what he's known for, but he does it and he does a good job. But I remember going and I would take people, girls to go see the show, and I'm doing the bit in their ear because I'm doing it funnier and better than he does because he's already tired of the material, but he's still doing it.
Yeah.
But I already know what's coming because I've seen this 100 times.
Yeah, and he's like checked out. He's not performing it anymore or like living in the joke.
He's just doing the crowd work. That's where he shines.
Right.
So he brings out the tired old jokes, and then we'll do 5 minutes of crowd work, and then do another tired old joke. And so that's why, for me, I know too many people doing that, and I felt like I was going to get into that trap when I was doing backdoor comedy. Linda. Is that her name?
Linda Stogner, legend.
I went out there and I did a great set. I thought I did a really good set. And she comes up to me. She goes, at the time you could only do every other week for open mic. I don't know if it's still the same way. But she goes, hey, I really enjoyed your material. I want you to come back next week. So that was like a big honor for me. And so I kept doing it. But then I did the exact same set and I didn't feel good about it. And so I'm like, if I can't write and do that all the time, then I just don't, it doesn't, if it's not bringing me joy, then I'm not going to do it.
Dude, I had when I first started at Backdoor, because it used to be at a DoubleTree hotel, but it was at another place before that.
Yeah, that's where I started going. When it was at Ross, it was in downtown. I've never been to the DoubleTree one, and then they moved again, right?
Yeah, so they're in Richardson right now,
okay,
off Beltline, and it's way more conducive for comedy. Like we had a show there last night, and it was rocking. It was a great show. It was a small, intimate room, but I was like 6 months into doing open mics there. They do the open mic every Thursday still. And it was like a July, it was just like hot, and like the AC was not working, so they had one of the doors propped open, and like a cricket had got inside the room and was just there on the like front table. And nobody had like mentioned this cricket or anything, and there was a couple of comics like supposed to go up before me, and I was just like waiting. I was like, man, somebody's gonna mention this cricket at some point. Nobody did. I go up. I start immediately. I'm just doing jokes, and then whenever they wouldn't work, I would just hold the microphone to the cricket.
That's great.
And it was just it was killing in a way that I've never killed before.
Yeah,
and will never kill again.
Right.
I mean,
they said nobody kills as great as I do.
The likes of which no one's ever seen. Yeah. But I was like, and Linda saw that set, and then she was like, "Can you start coming here on weekends?" So I was just like seating people. Awesome. And working the light, just to get time, just to get 3 minutes at a time whenever I first started. And but me and her, we would butt heads like every weekend, and I would always just be like, we would like leave with her being with me being like, well, Linda, why do you keep inviting me back here every weekend? And she was just like, well, why can't you be like you were that one night whenever I saw you in the summer? And I was like, when there was a cricket that was like unplanned, like, I can't have like a stooge cricket,
right?
You just
bring a rubber cricket everywhere you go. That's your whole thing.
Yeah. So, but since then we've been able to like learn each other's styles. But it was like one of the first times she saw me.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible." But I'm like, I'm not a crowd work guy. I'm not usually like, counting on like an absurd thing to happen in the room. Like I just want to go and do my jokes.
I never was interested in crowd work, but I had a joke. It was a real story that happened of somebody I actually knew, but it was a big story here in Dallas. And I kind of felt bad telling the joke because I knew these people, but essentially there was a guy who rented out a U-Haul trailer to do free gynecology exams at a U-Haul warehouse. So I had a whole routine based off of this thing because I'm like, who's going there? Blah, 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 blah. It's a whole thing. And then some people didn't laugh at a couple of parts. I'm like, ma'am, you're not laughing. Did you get your results back from the things like that? And it worked really well. So with your cricket thing, right? I was watching. I went to when I first started doing this. I started going to open mics just to observe and see what everyone was doing. And most people do the same jokes, same type of cadence, especially the girls at the time, same cadence, same jokes. And the guys would, oh, I'm lonely and this and that happened. I got stood up the other day. Same stuff, right? So my material was different. I didn't have to worry about that. Whether good or bad, my material was different. And I wanted to do something different when I went up on stage to differentiate myself. So the very first time I did stand-up, I watched everyone using the same mic, and I just pretended I was a germaphobe. And so I spent the first 30 seconds wiping down the mic and disinfecting the mic. And nobody laughed. But the comedians that went up before me said, I've never seen anybody do that before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You were ahead of your time.
I was ahead of my time.
When COVID happened, that was so hacky.
Yeah.
So many comics were doing that.
I was just doing
COVID.
it just because.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, we were way earlier.
I think I was channeling my inner Howie Mandel. But so if we want to find you, we want to follow your adventures and stand-up comedy, what's the best place to reach you?
Instagram at Vinnie and the Jokes.
I love that. I love the name.
VINN.
Vinnie and the Joke.
There it is.
Plural. Because you have more than one.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you're welcome back anytime. It's great to have,
this was fun.
It's great to have somebody actually funny on the show.
And everything. And
he finished it before the show ended.
Yeah. And then he did a pattern to it afterward.
I did.
That's incredible. How do you learn something like that? Like, what's the...
people think that it's a reflection of your intelligence, but I think it's just a testament to how few friends I have, really.
Yeah.
Well, I was just at home just doing this.
When did you learn? At what age?
I was like 25 or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Very late in life. I
just don't have the patience for things like that. I'm not even... Were you a Lego guy when you were a kid?
I would play with Legos, but I wasn't like building like the things that came with it.
I can't even do... I don't have patience for the Legos. Give me a toy that's already built.
I used to take this on stage with me, and I would like solve it while I was doing...
See, that's a good gimmick.
Doing jokes.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, because I used to throw it out and then have people scramble it up. And then COVID happened, I kind of felt weird about... they would feel weird about touching it.
Yeah.
And like throw it in the crowd and people are like, it's a hand grenade.
Yeah. Just like, yeah. So I haven't done, but maybe I'll bring it back. Maybe I'll bring it back for Addison.
Yeah.
Got to find out.
Got to find out.
Come check it out.
Well, Vinnie, thanks so much for coming on the show, and you're welcome back anytime. Come back again.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no problem. We'll see you. We're gone for the next 2 weeks, so we'll see you in May.
I hear it.
This is MZ Now, online at mznow.tv. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/MZ Now.